Once a month or so, sommelier, chef, and raconteur Tim Ellison leaves Granville Island to chat with us about the vibrant Vancouver food scene. He is the certified chef de cuisine at Pacific Institute of Culinary Arts on the island. He is also a traveling sommelier who likes to run long distances. Tim Ellison dropped by Studio 4 a couple of weeks ago. Here is our conversation. When I say you like to run, you do like to run, because rumor has it you ran a marathon in France.
It was so much fun, yes, that's true.
It was fun?
Yeah, it was great. The Marathon de Médoc. So in that classic French style, the idea is that it's in Bordeaux. You run through the vineyards, so Lafite, Latour, Costa-Chanel, Bataille, Montrose, I mean all the top spots, Félan-Ségur. And as you run, you have an option of going to a water station, or perhaps they have other refreshments there.
A wine station?
At virtually every winery, and they're pouring things like at Félan-Ségur, 94 out of magnums, giving you oysters on the half shell, ice cream, roast beef, shaved serrano ham. It was a party with 8,500 runners.
So let me get this straight. You stopped during the marathon.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So your time wasn't all that good.
Oh yeah, the claim to fame for the Médoc Marathon is they call it the longest marathon in the world, not because it's any longer than the 42 2K, but it's because it takes everybody so long, because you're drinking the whole time.
Do you have to run, or can you walk?
No, you've got to run. If you're going to finish, you've got to run. So and the idea is the faster you run, the more time you can spend at the wineries, enjoying yourself. And I tell you, it was crazy. It was a party. And you would run into like Lafite, these beautiful mansions and gorgeous chateaux, and entire teams would peel their running gear off and dive into their fountains and their lakes and ponds, swim around, drinking, cajoling, dancing. Oh, it's just
how much fun. It almost encourages me to train. Almost.
Almost.
How much did you train before you went?
You know, we did the running room marathon training, so about 4 months, and you work yourself up to about 35K, and then you just show up and go for it.
Did the marathon bug bite you? Are you considering running in New York or Boston or Vancouver?
I'd love to do a time marathon. Boston for sure. I'll do Vancouver next year. I'll do a couple marathons a year I'm thinking the next maybe 10, 15 years.
Really?
Anyway. Yeah, I loved it.
Well, because if you run a lot, you can eat a lot.
Exactly.
You think?
Oh, yeah.
And drink a lot.
That's exactly right. And the great thing about training for the Médoc Marathon is it encouraged us to drink while we ran, so I can do two of my favorite things.
Were people hurling all over the place?
They were dropping like flies. 8,500 runners started, 7,100 finished, so 1,400 casualties along the way.
How long did it take you?
Okay. So you get 6.5 hours, but they gave us an extra half an hour because, if you can believe it, the temperature was 37 degrees, 98% humidity, so they gave us 7 hours. So the idea is to take as long as you possibly can. Team Beaver, 6:31, 6:41, and 2 at 6:54.
Coming back to the Pacific Institute of Culinary Arts was not a letdown, but a change.
Well, certainly a change from London and Paris, there's no doubt. But good to be home. And yeah, we just finished a big renovation at the school, so it's a very exciting time for us there.
What's renovated?
We redid the bake shop and the dining room. So, you know, spent a lot of money, brought in a designer, new light fixtures, fabrics, put in a full bar. We've got Prosecco on tap now going there.
So people can eat at the Institute?
We're open to the public for lunch and dinner 5 days a week, and we have a little bake shop where you can buy our baked goods, macarons, opera cakes, pastries, croissants, and things like that to go as well.
Students cooking?
Yeah,
you
students cooking. Not me necessarily. We've got way better chefs than me working there. So yeah, all the student activities overseen by executive chef, but students serve in the dining room. Students supply the bake shop and the restaurant, and it's great stuff. Top quality ingredients.
Speaking of bake shops, there's a new one in town.
Yes, Thierry.
Thierry.
Yeah, fantastic. We're so fortunate to have him. Trained in France, worked in London at Michelin-starred restaurants with the Roux brothers at Gavroche, worked for Marco Pierre White.
Really?
Came to town, was overseeing the pastry program for Jack Evansall and Top Table Group at Chin Chin and West. And Jack, recognizing this treasure that he has opened. I mean, it's just gorgeous on Alberni, in between Burrard and Thurlow.
I went in. It's beautiful. And it doesn't just have chocolates and croissant. Has sandwiches too.
Sandwiches too, and I mean, they even have a specialty coffee program where they have their coffees blended for them, like individual beans roasted and then bench blended, Cafe de Casa or something like that. They do it especially for them. The coffee's beautiful.
And if you can't find it, it's spelled TH. Ierry, because remember when Evansville launched West and it was spelled in the French way, and people were looking under W in the phone book, so finally they figured out a better way.
That's right. It is the colonies after all. So
it is the colonies. Easy. Well, you know how it is. It would be natural to think it starts with a W. Nothing Evansville touches fails that I know of.
He's a consummate restaurateur, and I mean all of his places. I mean, you look at everything: Araxi, Blue Water, Chin Chin, West. They are top notch, and he is driven to make them as good as he possibly can. He's responsible for bringing a lot of talent into town. And you know, before Terry was doing the pastry program at Chin Chin, he had a gentleman by the name of Maurizio, who is now our pastry instructor at the school.
At the school,
yeah,
wonderful.
Yeah, he's amazing.
At the Hands of Masters, learning at the Hands of Masters. How great is that? Have you been to Hawkesworth?
Oh yeah,
in the Georgia.
Wow.
In the refurbished Georgia hotel.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous room, and I mean David has done a great job. But we've been waiting for years for him to resurface in his new property. Who knew that the hotel would take so long? But just a beautiful restaurant. You know, great food, artfully presented. Super
art
wine list.
On the walls.
Oh, art on the walls.
Great art on the walls.
It's a fantastic space. And, you know, he has Terry Trethall doing his wine program. They've got like 7 sommeliers on staff. Really? So they're really driven for a great match between the food and the wine. So, you know, David's cooking, super progressive, top notch, really exciting. And to have that level going on in the floor, it's pretty cool.
Well, he was here and told me I should drop by for lunch.
You should.
Want to leave now?
Let's go. I'm ready. I'm free.
Okay, I'm almost free. Vikram Vij.
Yes.
Is also up to something.
Yeah, he's got his
more.
Well, you know, he's really moving into the meal replacement category because you know how Vikram is. Won't take a reservation. You know, you got to line up starting at 4:30 to get in the door at 5:30, and there's a lot of people that are missing out on his cuisine because of that. So he's opted to give them the opportunity to make the cuisine in their own homes. So you know, he's got that new little place on Cambie, just up from 12th, and a big manufacturing facility out in Surrey.
Really?
And he's packaging his food. And selling it onto the retail stores like Whole Foods and Edible Canada and places like that, where you can go and buy Vikram's food, take it home, and heat it up and eat it yourself.
Well, I'll tell you, it's marvelous because you come home, you put on a pot of water, and you
drop the bag in.
3 bags in the pot, and you can lie and say you made it, I guess.
Oh yeah, no,
but that would be cheating.
Well.
But it's so delicious, it really is. Yeah. And Rock and Ronnie was in here, and he's made pulled pork. Same deal.
Right. Yeah.
Drop it in.
Yeah, it's
buy a bun.
Boil in a bag. You know, a lot of the French chefs are doing this. They call it sous vide cooking, which is to cook an item, put it in a sealed flyback bag, and put it in a hot water bath. And these guys are just adapting that for the home use.
What do you make of the trendy pizza explosion in this town?
Isn't it incredible?
Yeah.
We've gone such a long way. Now, being born and raised in Burnaby, I used to go to Me and Ed's thin crust pizza. I was raised on it. So these thick, doughy matzo things with stuff shoved in the crust. You know, I never really was in my orbit. And now we're seeing like Nicoli Antico, and there's a whole explosion. Campagnola Romo down at Hastings, Belcham and Doherty's place, doing these thin crust, authentic pizzas, wood-fired ovens, simple toppings, not loaded with gooey matzo cheese, but quality and fresh herbs, presentation. They're just gorgeous.
I know. I had one at Nicoli, and there was no cheese.
Yeah.
It was just beautiful red tomatoes, special tomatoes. Of course, they'd have to be.
Yeah.
And
fire roasted
an anchovy
tomatoes.
or something, fire roasted tomatoes, just delicious.
And it's so cool because they come and they're never perfectly round. They're always this kind of organic, handmade
well,
shape.
and you can you're supposed to rip them, like you do in
Naples.
Right. Or you fold them over.
And make a sandwich out of them as you talk on your cell phone and walk down the street?
I think we'll have to go soon because, well, we could start at Nicoli and have an hors d'oeuvre, or we start at Hawkesworth.
Yes.
Have an hors d'oeuvre. I think we should go on a stroll.
There's, and there's so many places, like right around the corner, Dale McKay, Ensemble. He's got.
Oh, Ensemble, how's that?
It's great. And what's so exciting
and that's
about
on,
it's
the old
Villa
Piccolomondo.
Piccolomondo, that's right. So Smythe and Thurlow. A couple of guys have gone in there.
And he's from Lumiere, right?
That's right. So,
Original, the old Lumiere.
That's right. Working with Daniel Boulud, and he was with Gordon Ramsay in London for about 5 years. Literally showed up on his door and begged a job at I think Petrus. Came, worked with Daniel Boulud, really cut his teeth. Was Top Chef Canada, won. And what's really cool about what Dale's doing there is he's got this incredible driven passion for food, but he's making it super accessible by keeping the prices reasonable. So you can go and have lunch and have dinner and get out without getting too beat up. And his wine list is really nice too, because there's every range of prices, bottles at $35 and $40 going all the way up. So you can go have a nice meal.
Is that a trend in the industry? Are you seeing that more as the economy tanks? Especially tanks in the United States, and we're having some rough times here.
For sure.
Restaurants follow suit or not?
Yeah, I think that the fine dining as always that little kind of nut at the top, and it's the destination restaurants and special event restaurants, and people will always go. But these days, small apartments, people not cooking, time starved, there's more meal occasions outside the house. And if you want to get them into your restaurant, you have to make it affordable. So we're seeing things like, at Hawksworth, there's tasting glasses. You can order a 2-ounce glass of wine if you want to try an expensive wine.
Really?
And get a couple of those. At the school, we do flights where we offer 3 different wines in 2-ounce pours. You try to have some lower priced entrees. You try to have some value wines on the list.
How are we doing wine bar wise? When you go to Paris and you can go to a wine bar and I know.
It was so wonderful.
Do our liquor laws allow that?
We're not quite there yet.
We're not quite there yet.
Big excitement in the wine scene is Jimmy Pattison bought Everything Wine.
I heard.
And if anybody can influence the provincial government to loosen up our liquor laws, I think it's our pal Jimmy. So if he's listening, come on, Jim. We're counting on you, buddy.
He lives upstairs here in this building. You know that.
So we should pop up there and maybe
I'll mention it to him.
We'll bring him along for lunch.
Why not?
I tell you.
Because he can buy. Not every day you take a billionaire to lunch, or he takes you to lunch. He eats at a small restaurant often in West Vancouver, Carmelo's. Great little restaurant.
Simple.
Simple.
Yeah.
All
Quality.
of that. Yeah, I don't see. Well, he probably eats at all the fancies too, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got a live-in chef.
Downtown. Probably his wonderful wife, Mary.
In fact, he probably has a live-in chef that cooks for his live-in chef.
Sometimes when you have billions, you don't. Like we,
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes. You and I, we would have the limo, the chef, the jet.
Oh yeah, with new money the whole way. Oh. It would be terrible.
We'd be classy, and we'd invite people over, but limo,
that's
for sure.
We'd send a car.
Get the driver, pull up the rolls, take me to lunch.
I saw it parked outside.
I saw it too. Whose is it?
I have no idea.
No.
It's a nice one, though.
I don't either. Yeah, it's black and lovely
well,
and all of that. It's been there for 2 days.
Now that we have the rolls dealer in town, I'm seeing a lot more of those new drop head rolls.
I sat in the front and the back of that Phantom.
Yeah, it's so gorgeous.
The smell. And they don't use, I think is it buffalo? The hide?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But I know they don't, or maybe it's just cows, but in a rolls, they don't use a cow that's ever been anywhere near barbed wire.
Oh, it's got to be perfect.
It's perfect. Yeah. How nice to see you again. Next time we'll talk about more restaurants, more food, and perhaps more marathons.
Oh, you never know.
Okay.
You never know.
Nice to see you.
Thanks.